Professor Femi Odekunle is still with us, who is a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Corruption. And just before we went on break...
Against corruption.
Beg your pardon, against corruption. Well, we beg your pardon, yes, against corruption. You're right on that one. Now, you were telling me, just while we're on break, that you also advise the different agencies of government that you've met on how to avoid corruption or how to correct the system against, or make the system foolproof against corruption.
How to deliver on their work, yes.
So
their mandate.
You're not only advising the president, you also have his mandate to speak to the agencies?
Oh, yes. I mean, these are executive organs of government. Mm-hmm. And all executive organs of government are under the presidency. And to that extent, if we're advising the presidents, directly or indirectly, it does not mean that every day we go to the villa, to the president, to give the advisory. We submit advisory on occasions, but our job is routine in terms of dealing with the agencies, the anti-corruption agencies. And as I was explaining to you, if we relate to ICPC or EFCC or the judiciary, for example, another arm of government, because everybody is against corruption. The question is, you relate to justice. What is the problem? Why are cases taking so long with the judiciary? What are the issues? And we dialogue, interact, and on the basis of our knowledge, on the basis of their experience, we come up with suggestions or advice on the best way to move forward. Like we have sentencing guidelines, which we work together with the judges on making sure there is equity. There is no reason why for somebody stealing 1 billion naira, he gets 1 year, another one gets 10 years. There must be equity. There must be the objective of achieving deterrence on the basis of the existing law.
Let's quickly go to Lagos now for some questions.
Well, Professor Odekunle, I mean, yes, receiving 50 petitions in 1 year, that's huge. But we also see that your committee said that those petitions bothered on a wide range of issues, including unlawful dismissal. In fact, that goes to suggest that a lot is wrong in our approach and fight against corruption. But then I also noticed that you spoke about some petitions alleging that some anti-corruption agencies are complicit or failed to act appropriately. In this kind of matter, what kind of recommendations or advice do you give to the president about those petitions about the anti-corruption agencies?
Well, there are all kinds of petitions. Many are directly about corruption in existing agencies or even in the banks or in the private sector. If you may be against the agencies themselves, from the members of the public who believe that they've sent petitions to those agencies and the agencies have not acted as expected. So if we receive any such petitions, we will send it to the appropriate agency. For example, if it's a petition about money laundering, definitely we send it to EFCC. If it's the predicate offense of corruption itself, we send it to the ICPC. Some may be sent to the police. Somebody was asking me some few days ago that what if you now get a petition against the EFCC? Well, we will send it to the chairman of the EFCC to attend to if it's something inside. But if it's something that is too serious, then that may go to another agency to look into. And if it's of a very, very serious nature, then definitely will direct it to the presidency, who could then give direct orders to those agencies. Because remember, our committee is advisory. We are not in a position to give directives to the agencies, even though there is a mutual respect between the committee and each of these agencies. If we do advise them, they take it as if the advice is from the presidency. But that's all I can say.
Well, I mean, there are many who will immediately say that it goes against the principle of natural justice if you receive a petition against a particular agency and you send the petition to themselves. Because many will tell you, even those agencies that have boards, nobody hears about the kind of function those boards do. So wouldn't you come up, or wouldn't it be in place or in line or appropriate to come up with a suggestion such that there has to be someone or an agency who supervises and ensures that the EFCC, if the allegations against them, it's also investigated?
Let me respond this way. We are not in a position in this country to continue to create agencies recklessly or be duplicating agencies with overlapping mandates. Secondly, we have enough laws and we have enough agencies to deal with corruption. I can list 3 or 4 directly. Minus the police, you have the FCC, you have the FCC, you have the ICPC, you have the DSSS, you have the Code of Conduct Bureau, you have the Code of Conduct Tribunal, and so on and so forth. Now, if a petition comes, for example, concerning non-response by the EFCC or ICPC in a particular case, then you send it to the chairman. After we have looked at it, we send it to the chairman. Can you please attend to this? Or can you please respond to this? So it is not as if we are asking the agency to investigate itself. But let's assume, theoretically, or let me say hypothetically, that you have a petition against the chairman of EFCC. Why we may, or ICPC, why we may ask him to respond? At the same time, the presidency will be alerted about such a petition. And you must assume that immediately the ICPC or EFCC or whoever is aware that we are aware of such a petition, definitely they will assume, and correctly so, that that petition must have gone to the ear of the presidency. So I do not think it's a matter of the agencies investigating themselves.
It also boils down. Anyway, Professor Odekunle, good to see you.
Please let me add this. You don't forget that most of such petitions are not necessarily against the chairman or top notchers of these agencies. They may be against the staffers, to which the chairman may not be aware, of which the chairman may not be aware.
Let me come in here. But in this case,
he gets aware of it and acts accordingly on that petition.
In this case, also speaking hypothetically, if the case is against the headship of that agency, for instance, the EFCC, or of anyone in government, for instance, maybe a mention of someone in the president's government that has been fingered or mentioned in any of the corruption cases, what do you do as advisors to the government in that kind of instance?
I will tell you this. Let's assume there's a petition directed to us against, say, Minister of Transport, Amechi. If we receive such a petition, if it's corruption, strictly, we'll send it to ICPC. We'll look at it, send it to ICPC, we have a record. If it's money laundering related, we send it to EFCC. Now, at the same time, you must be, I've said it before, if we send it to ICPC or EFCC, you must be aware that the presidency will be aware of such a petition. I cannot say more than that.
Have you received any
government?
Have you, only Professor Odekunle,
before directing to the appropriate agency, but we also report it to the presidency. Yes.
Tell us, have you received any against anyone in the government?
If you assume that everybody's in government, of course we have received petitions against people in government.
No, I'm talking specifically about the ministers of the president, the ministers. Have you received any petition against anyone?
Not any as I know as of this minute.
Do you only work based on petitions? Do you work only based on petitions?
No. In fact, the matter of petition is almost secondary to our work. Mm-hmm. I was telling you that our job is to coordinate the anti-corruption activities of this administration in all ramifications, in terms of ideas, in terms of mutual cooperation among the agencies. We develop documents on information, intelligence sharing about corruption. I mentioned sentencing guidelines, case management.
The reason I ask this is because when you see certain allegations in the newspapers, for instance, or in the public space, does it take the interest of the anti-corruption, Presidential Advisory Committee against corruption?
We do not go fishing for cases, but some people do send petitions to us, various species, and all we do is look at it. If we believe that there is substance in it, if it's not political, for example, then we send it to. In fact, if we receive anything, say about election, we will look at it. If it appears it relates to corruption, we send it to maybe a chairman of INEC to look into it.
One of the recommendations that we've heard that the special PAC has been working on is the recommendation that there should be special courts for corruption. Is this something that you're still pushing?
Thank you very much. This is the point I was trying to make, that our work is virtually omnibus. Our work is to coordinate in an advisory capacity all the anti-corruption agenda of this administration. Of course, the one you mentioned, it's so we recommend that there should be special courts to deal with serious crimes, including corruption. It is also possible that